This week on The Big Room.
The observatory scene. You got literal chills.
I got literal chills. I looked at Cameron.
She was like,
and I was like, Cameron, look at my chills.
Look.
And I was like,
chills.
I mean,
Chills.
it's not that good.
Yes, it is.
I do like when they like take off and are like floating.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's so
cannot-
magical.
I cannot get, for the life of me, get past what's really happening.
Welcome back to the big room where I've been fighting technology for over an hour. So, hey, if you don't hear this episode, it wasn't for lack of trying.
We tried really hard. And by we, I mean Cameron. I just prayed to the baby Jesus for the last hour and 20 minutes.
I'm going to find whoever invented OBS and key their car. Now, we watched La La Land. I don't have any news because the news is that I didn't throw my computer out the window.
That's an
good
exciting
news.
news.
You know what's hilarious is tomorrow I'm going to someone's house to to give them advice on like YouTube stuff, and I just beat my head against my computer for 1,000.
The advice
also,
is don't start a
fresh up there.
YouTube, don't start a podcast, just don't.
Also,
Just don't.
it's
do
not
it.
like we're successful. I should be giving advice to no one at all.
Well,
Very small.
We did
channel.
have one TikTok that has 60,000 plays.
That's
so
right.
I
Let's
mean,
go.
Everybody
Yeah.
pat yourself
I
on the back.
mean-
We had one thing
Group
go
effort.
kind of fine.
kind of slightly popular.
We watched La La Land. I guess we're doing
Yay.
a pseudo Gosling month.
We are.
But we only have 3 weeks because we took a week off.
It's just a mini Gosling month. It's okay.
3 weeks of Gosling. We watched La La Land, which is a movie about accidentally chasing your dreams wrong. I looked up
Yeah.
an
Explain.
article on Rotten Tomatoes, and it had La La Land as the second best Gosling movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
What was
rankings.
first?
Drive.
Okay.
Barbie was sixth. And some movie you watched was second to last. What was the one you watched a couple weeks ago?
Was it Gangster Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. I wouldn't watch
Oh
it
yeah,
again.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I
It was
don't remember
okay.
what else. I think we're watching Crazy Stupid Love next week. Spoilers.
Yeah.
That
Spoiler
one is like
alert.
it was like 17th or something.
also has, what's her name, right?
Yeah.
Emma Stone, yeah.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Emily Stone, right?
Her name is Emily.
She
yes.
doesn't like to be called Emma, I don't think.
No.
I think she's like, my name is Emily. Please call me Emily.
Everyone knows her as Emma, though.
Yeah, this reporter
She
called
changed
her.
it because. Go ahead.
Well, just this reporter called her Emily in an interview, and everyone was like Emma, and she was like, "My name is Emily." Like, thank you. Actually,
Yeah.
like,
I heard she changed it because there was another Emily or something.
yeah.
So she changed to be different. She's like, whatever, I'm changing it back. Like,
Or she was like, I need to be in the news. I'm going to change my name.
All right.
Or I guess like Anne Hathaway. I
Nick
guess
is-
has been Annie Hathaway this whole time.
Nick is victim blaming. Maybe that was it. There was someone who's like has a shortened name as an actress in Hollywood, and they were like, "Can you like stop?" But who knows?
Not us. We don't know.
We watched this last night. It's not the movie I expected.
No. What did you
No,
expect?
I expected more Singing in the Rain, and this
Mm.
one's more What If Inside Llewyn Davis was a musical?
Yeah, I guess.
In that it's
but
not-
Inside Llewyn Davis sucks.
So here's what I mean. Here's what I mean about. No, it doesn't. Here's what I mean about chasing your dreams wrong. He sacrifices his dream, which is, to be fair, frivolous. I too would like to open a bar establishment. Will I ever do it? No, because it'll ruin me. And gives it up for a steady job because he overhears his girlfriend talking to her mom, and he's got like nothing going on.
He makes a giant assumption though. Like what's her name? Mia doesn't really make any comments. She's okay. She's cool.
Well, yeah, but like also money's good.
Money is good. You
And he
gotta.
wouldn't make
Yeah.
it.
You want to
money.
pay your bills.
He got fired by J. Jonah Jameson.
That's, oh my God.
Yeah, he was taking not good enough pictures of Spider-Man or something and
Yep.
playing the piano wrong.
I knew he was familiar.
Just play the
speaking
solos.
of, what's that actor's name? J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
This movie, same writer director as Whiplash.
which I still need to see.
In fact, the lead was originally not Ryan Gosling. It was
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller.
Different movie.
Alongside,
I don't like him.
Alongside, wasn't it Emma Watson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were the first two leads.
Really?
I just don't know.
But
And
Emma Watson turned it down for Beauty and the Beast.
which is a
And-
mistake.
And I didn't fact check this. I just heard it in a video I
Emma
watched.
Watson turned it down to be in a hack remake.
Apparently, Ryan Gosling got
Offered
pitched
Beast.
Beauty
Yeah.
and the Beast and turned it down and was in this.
Right.
He was going to be the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good career move there,
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
I can't imagine Ryan Gosling as the
There was an
Beast.
actor today or yesterday, who I think it was the guy who plays the guy in Ratatouille. So not the
Okay.
rat, the guy the
Yeah.
rat controls.
Yes.
Never seen Ratatouille.
I don't know his name.
Can't
He
be
has red
bothered.
hair.
I'm pretty sure it was
David-
that actor.
David-
David's
rat.
screaming right now.
And he watch the rat movie, whatever. He was asked if he would do, if there ever were to be, if he would reprise his role in a live action Ratatouille. And he was like, no, because those are soulless money grabs with no art in them.
Good for him.
Also, it'd just be an animated rat with less expressions. So why?
What if they just went with a puppet instead? Like old school.
I would
be
be.
great.
I'd be more
No,
in.
that's
That'd be
great.
pretty
They,
good.
they just steal the mouse puppets from Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yeah, I'd be more in for that
Yeah.
than a CGI
No,
rat.
but he was like, no, I'm not going to be in your soulless, gross corporation money grab, which good for him. Because I feel like I would like to think that I would do the same.
You'd do that. You'd have some integrity, some
But
artistic
I
integrity.
also have a somewhat of a track record for putting the middle finger up to the almighty dollar
Yeah,
in
you
favor
don't-
of doing what I want.
you don't like to do what people want you to do.
No.
or tell
I
you
have
to do.
big problems with authority
Yeah,
and intelligent career moves.
it's going okay so far.
I really liked a lot of the cinematography, to borrow
Yeah, I'm
Carl's
trying not
favorite
to say
word.
it. I know.
This movie, you have to say
You
it
have
though.
to,
You have
There's
to
so
say
much of it.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeously shot.
It's
Yeah.
filmed just magnificently. It's crazy.
And so Danielle has seen this movie a million times. Carl, you've seen this movie at least once. I have never seen it.
Yeah.
I assume you have never seen it. So we're in the 50-50 once again. The podcast is split against people who've seen this movie. I think Danielle's seen it a lot.
Not a lot. So I kind of wanted to talk about it. So I first saw this movie.
We have a podcast. So go ahead.
Here we are talking about it. I first saw this movie in 2016 when it came out, and I did not like it. I very much did not like it. I
It's on in
didn't.
theaters.
Yeah,
What about it?
I didn't like the ending because
Of course not.
I was
Yeah.
younger and I wasn't jaded at the world yet. And I also didn't think the vocal
that's real.
performances were very strong.
They're not.
So
Because they're not.
and
That's
it really bothered me.
What I liked about it.
Yeah, because
well,
you
now I appreciate it because it
Okay.
just adds a realness factor to it.
right, and you believe it's those two singing.
Yes.
I would.
Which
I'm
it
pretty
is.
Sure, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't revisit this movie until my friend Maggie and I went to LA last year. And I was like, I'm going to LA. Like, I'm on a plane. I'll watch La La Land. And I loved it. And I've
Well,
been obsessed with it since then.
Bury the lead. You were going to the lot where
Well, we were going to Disneyland, but we did go to the Warner Brothers lot. And
Where this movie is.
where
nice.
they do their like walk and talk. Like,
Wait, did
I've
you get
been
to see
there.
the Casablanca window?
Yes.
Oh, that's sick.
Like, I've been there. Like,
I hate that movie, but that's
all
cool.
those sets, like, I hate that movie. But
Nick's
that's cool.
Nick's trying to be an edgelord by hating the second best movie of all time.
Oh God.
I'm so cool. I didn't like.
I didn't like
Casablanca. 'Cause
Casablanca.
I'm so cool.
I'm off the beaten path.
I was watched more of his phone during the
Oh.
running of Casablanca. So what I want to say, I had something to say. Oh, speaking of the vocal performances not being quite nailed. So one of the things that I really liked and wrote down a couple times and then consolidated my notes while I was watching it is this is one of those movies and one of those musicals, because we've watched a couple musicals, I think that this would not be true of. What's the last one we watched? We watched a modernish musical a little bit ago.
Did we?
Yeah, Carl really hated it.
Well, no, that was Singing in the Rain. That's super
Carl
old.
hated Singing in the
That was
Rain.
Singing
We
in the
all
Rain.
hated West Side Story.
It's a bad.
Yep. Terrible movie.
What was the one with the Frank Sinatra and the guy and the young girl that he was singing to?
High
Oh, the
Society.
High
High Society.
That's kind of
Okay,
musical.
let's take High Society. I think High Society and West Side Story, although I'm going to get flack for my point here, but I think that Singing in the Rain and this movie have many things in common. One of them is that the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm going, a great deal of these scenes you could lift and throw right on the stage.
Yeah.
Right on the stage. It would work as a play, almost. Obviously, you would have to scale down. Like, we can't do a dance transition into the literal sky. But but you know, a couple sets,
Yeah.
and this would work on the stage, and it's been adapted to stage at least once, although I think with a spin on
Yeah.
it. I
I don't
briefly.
Did
that
you?
in the
I
wiki.
haven't read about that. I didn't know if that was the thing. No, they did it on purpose though. They actually, before they started filming, they went and consulted with Gene Kelly's widow and just looked at his memorabilia and like talked to her because they wanted this to feel very inspired by Singing in the Rain, and they wanted all the way it was filmed and the way they did all the sets and everything to be very reminiscent of old Hollywood. So that was all done very purposefully.
Which it does feel old Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that about it because it doesn't feel like a modern movie.
The scene where where he's walking her to his car or to her car.
Yeah.
And they're like got the skyscape behind them or whatever.
They do
That
the shoe swap and the dance
that
number.
felt very Singing in the Rain to me.
Yeah.
He literally was hanging off the light pole.
Well, that had to have been a nod.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Now you were telling me that so when they walk up to that cityscape that you were talking about, because they're on like a California hill. I assume they filmed it in.
Yes, it's all
LA.
filmed in LA.
So they're on that LA hill and they're looking over sunset Los Angeles. You told me they had like 30 minutes to film that.
Yeah. Well, Cameron goes, let me scroll to the
Oh,
actual
yes.
note. He goes, really idyllic scenery. I don't know if I buy it, but maybe it's real. And I was like, hold on. It is real.
I was just trying to think, like, my brain went back to The Nice Guys. Like, we had a cityscape scene and the whole interstate had to be fake because the cars had to be in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, it would have been really difficult because it's golden hour. You only have so much time. And the answer was they actually only had so much time, which is really cool.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. And that's the scene that Ryan Gosling regrets the most from the whole movie.
It's so funny that clip just came out.
He was asked on some late night show, probably Colbert.
Yeah, it was also in a Vogue interview, maybe.
Maybe it was
Some
just
interviews.
that. He was asked. It was just an interview. It wasn't
Yeah.
Colbert. Sorry, Steven. I want to give you credit for everything because I love you. But he was asked if he had a regret or regretted a scene or something from any of his films. And he picked this one. And during the dance number they do, they have a moment where they're dancing close and then they go out and they do like this thing with their arms. And he thought that this would be cooler. Like bending his arm, his
Yeah.
hand down to the wrist. And he's like, it isn't cooler. I should have just done what they told me to do.
Everyone tried to
I
tell
remember
him.
seeing that now.
Yeah.
And
Everyone
I
on
forgot it
set was
this
like,
movie.
not cooler. And he was like, it'll be cooler. and
And then they screen grabbed it for the freaking poster.
and he super regrets it because he had to see it everywhere on all the billboards and it was the wrong decision. So,
Oh, that's
I mean, that's a
excellent.
pretty prolific career if that's your only regret.
I was gonna say
Right.
that's also a really great like if you could change anything, it's some that small.
My
because he's
hand position.
That perfect.
yeah.
Oh my God.
pretty funny.
I would have changed the angle of my wrist, and other than that, perfect career.
I also spent about 10 minutes in the movie not watching the screen because I was Googling why was his watch on his right wrist and I found no answer. It was really bothering me because he's not left-handed.
It's got to be some jazz
Here's
thing.
a sh-
Some jazz hero
Ooh.
did that to keep time better or
Ooh,
something.
that's a good theory.
maybe.
You have two hands.
Gotta be.
But
You're a
right
jazz-
hand, I don't know. Maybe
You're a
yeah, I don't
pianist.
know.
You got both your
I'm
hands.
throwing
on
stuff
that.
out there.
I like it though. That's a good character reason for him to wear it on his right arm.
And so you told me last night that Ryan learned all the piano parts he played.
Not fair that he can sing and act and play piano and dance and do all this stuff
can
and
do
look
it
like
all.
Not
he
only
does.
that,
Like
Yeah.
he learned to play piano in 3 months.
That's
Golly.
Danielle was very. She made a point to say that he learned to play what he needed to play for the movie. So it's not like
That's true.
he
may
plays it really
not-
well.
But
though.
also, that's still
You still are learning.
That's
yeah,
not significant.
Well, and the reason that I think it's very impressive is it's not like he learned to play 4 chords on guitar, which is
I mean, he crushed Jingle
very
Bells.
easy, right? He had to learn how to play what sounds like improvisational jazz on piano, which is hard. Like jazz is hard. Even if you're only going to learn limited amounts of jazz to nail a 25-second scene, that's hard. I couldn't do that. I probably could, but I couldn't do that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe if you give me 3 months to learn 30, like, sure, maybe, I guess, but it's still a heck of a lot of commitment. And I wonder if he, like, if that's translatable at all. Did he have prior piano skills? Because his hand positioning looks
I know
really good.
I think he plays guitar because I was reading a fact about how John Legend had to learn how to play guitar and plays piano, and Ryan Gosling plays guitar but had to learn piano, so they swapped.
John Legend was such a great little cameo.
I was like,
Yeah, he was like, huh?
John Chrissy
I really like
Teigen's
that
husband's
song
here.
they did. That's been stuck in my head all week.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah,
So-
Light a Fire or something.
What's the
Starfire?
I liked the
Starfire.
I like the motif between Mia and Seb. The song that was played for them or whatever.
That's their theme.
It made me think of Up.
Ooh, I
It
like
made me
Doesn't
think
seem
of
Up.
the Up.
Wait, what?
I haven't seen Up.
Oh,
Even I've seen Up.
Up
You haven't seen A
Carl.
Bug's Life.
Shut up, man. Let me have
Isn't the
this.
guy's name Carl in it too?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, I saw. Yeah, I probably should go
Up
watch that.
has one of the most emotionally terroristic openings of maybe any film. No. They're just like, oh, you wanted to be happy, and they
Oh my
stab you
God.
in the
No, it's
chest like
so
17 times, and then they go, now watch your stupid Pixar movie, you bitch.
Yeah, you want a
it's-
house lifted by balloons? You gotta cry first.
It's exactly
okay.
Pretty much.
brutal, man. It's brutal.
Gotta have
It's
your
like
veggies
this
before
movie
dessert.
in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that ending. Oh, heartbreaking.
No, I wanted to say though about that Start a Fire song. John Legend found it hard to write a song that sounded like a hit song, but would also go against Sebastian's artistic integrity. Like he would be embarrassed by this song, but yet it still had to read as a hit song that the masses would be into. So it's
had
like,
to
how do you
have-
strike that balance?
I
I think he did a great job because it is very
It's-
catchy.
yeah, it's
I
good.
like
It's
it.
catchy.
I think if you're John Lennon, you have to work backwards.
John Lennon.
Legend. You have to work backwards. If you're John Lennon,
You have to not be
You're-
dead.
you're dead.
you have to become unkilled, and stop Paul McCartney
have
from
to
writing
become
Maxwell
alive.
Silver Hammer.
Bang,
That's
bang.
a bad song.
Maxwell.
If you're John Legend, I think that you start by writing a hit pop song, and then you go backwards into trying to put just enough jazz to where you irritate Sebastian.
Yeah.
You don't start with jazz and then you have to write a hit song featuring just enough jazz that it works. I feel like that's a frustrating way to do it. Maybe you would write the song first and then go, all right, jazz intro, brass break around this thing I've written. But I don't know. I'll call him.
Call him and ask him.
Yeah.
John Legend,
like that
if you're
in
listening.
the beginning too, when he was doing the practice and he had that little electronic kind of riff at the end, I kind of like that too. It was like, oh, that's kind of
I loved
I-
the
because I haven't really heard anything like that.
I love the looks that he was giving her in the crowd whenever she was watching them perform that
She's
song.
bummed out.
Because it starts with just like a spotlight with him on the piano doing regular piano stuff, and then he just kind of gives her a look and then does some of the electronic stuff, and it's just like, we're rolling with
We're
it.
doing it.
It's pretty good. Again, Ryan Gosling has the best just mannerisms in general. Like he's a really, I don't know, physical actor.
Yeah, we kind of got a little bit of a March freak out when he opened his room and his sister was in there, and he does like,
Yeah.
and he freaks out. I was like, oh. But these two movies came out of the same year, Nice
Yeah,
Guys
they did.
and
They
this
did.
one.
Yeah.
So I feel like he might have, some of it might have leaked into the other performance.
It's a heck of a run for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote down a shot of a piano restaurant, and I think it is when he's doing the Christmas thing. Mm-hmm. And he's playing Jingle Bells or whatever, and he's bummed out because he wants to play jazz.
He wants to play. He's got to play jazz. It's in
And
his
he's-
soul.
And he's been told not to. But when he
Loves
switches to
jazz.
playing Mia and Sebastian's theme, when he goes out of the Christmas song and into the jazz, I loved how. And they did this a couple times in the movie. They did it during Mia's singing audition later in the film, where we start normally lit and then we switch to a hard spot light, like a stage theater spotlight, and
Yeah.
everything else is dark. And the transitions back and forth, I'm like, that had to have been live and not in post, I
That's what I was
imagine, because
wondering.
the way that the transitions work, which means the light rig had to have been crazy. Like,
Huh. This might be a good behind the scenes.
yeah, I just have
Yeah.
so many questions about the
Yeah.
production and not a lot of
Yeah.
answers.
This movie, more than any I've seen this year, I've just been like, how the hell did they film this? Because it doesn't seem like parts of it are like fever dream. Some of the transitions are just like so seamless that I'm just like, how the fuck did
It
they pull
feels
this off?
like-
And in one cut too.
Oh,
Like,
that's
crazy.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
That singing audition scene being one cut was wild. And there was a couple other scenes I think that you mentioned. Maybe it was just that one where it was a single long
I mean,
shot.
there's a lot of single long shots because he wanted to do that again to harken back to old Hollywood and
Gene Kelly
theater.
torturing those poor people and singing in the rain.
Yeah. But like there's, when Sebastian's playing the piano and Mia's dancing in the crowd, it's literally just a camera on a rig, like switching back and forth really quickly. Like,
I think I've seen that behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was just on like TikTok going viral fairly recently. And I was like, man.
I
so
liked,
good.
because Seb and Mia have one of those, like they keep passing by each other kind of deals. Like they meet in the traffic and they flip each other off. And I liked how in their individual versions of it, only one person flipped each other off both times, which is cool. In his perspective, she flipped him off, and in her perspective, he flipped her off. Yeah, which I think is neat. But in the pool scene where he's playing in the shitty cover band, and he's like bummed out.
I love that whole like exchange where she notices it's him and she's like, I ran, and he like double takes, and she just so snottily like looks at him, twirls her hair, and he's like, God damn it,
just
I
how
gotta
to push
play.
his buttons already.
It's so good.
Yeah.
He has one of the best mildly annoyed faces in Hollywood for me.
Yes.
For sure.
And
We're
we're
he
gonna
kind of
have
smirks through it a little bit.
we're gonna
Yeah.
have more of that with a camp example in the next movie. The meme scene.
There's so many memes in the next movie we're gonna watch.
But him looking like way too cool to be playing in that band.
Oh, way too cool.
I feel that. I've been there. But I loved that when they leave the party and it's like nighttime or whatever. And it's after, I believe it's after their dance. No, it's before. It's before. And she's doing something and she tells him, "Can you grab my keys?" And he's like, "What kind?" "It's a Prius." And then the look of this,
all Toyota.
It's all Prius. That doesn't help me.
So LA.
That's a good scene. Now, there's a line of dialogue, Carl.
Carl.
I believe it's when they're walking to the dance scene after the whole Prius thing,
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
There's a line of dialogue in here. Mia says, "It's pretty strange that we keep running into each other." Seb goes, "It is strange. Maybe it means something." Mia
Yeah.
says, "I doubt it." And Seb goes, "Yeah, I don't think so." And I went, "That's Carl. That's the most Carl back and forth." And then I got to thinking, I think Carl is like a cat dog of Ryan Gosling and Rob Schraub. I think it is because you've got some of
I've got
that.
the worst qualities of both of them.
I don't think so.
Oh, the best.
You've got some of that Ryan
I
Gosling.
do have kind of a lazy eye, like he's got Ryan.
You've got some of that
Gosling has. I
Ryan
got, like-
Gosling charm, and I don't
Yeah.
think so. Like the backtracking, like in that line. But
I did that last episode.
Also the Schraub neuroses and just the
Yeah.
bits and stuff. That was I was cracking myself up sipping
Well, that
on a
is-
paper plane last
I'll
night.
take
Going,
that, yeah.
going. He's Ryan Schraub Gosling.
Ryan Schraubling.
Ryan Schraubling. Oh my god.
Robin Schraubling.
So
Ooh.
that was that. Now,
That was
That's so
mine.
funny.
Greg. Let's talk about
Oh my
Greg.
God.
Greg.
I could not take Greg seriously at all.
No, we only see him for such a short amount of time.
Oh, yes.
I know him from American Horror Story,
Okay.
and he plays some creepy characters.
Ooh.
Like, dude loves bathing in other people's
No.
blood kind of characters.
Ew. Gross.
So seeing
Gross,
him try to
gross.
play, or not try, he was successful, but seeing him play a serious role was weird.
Before we talk about Greg too much, you mentioned that he's only in there for a second. This movie's very interesting in that we really have, it's the two of them for 95% of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't have many other
They're
characters.
the only scene they're not in is the first one.
It's a pretty simple plot, yeah.
It is. And
Maybe
it's-
even cliche.
I like that though, because it
not
leaves us
cliche.
with it's only their relationship. It gives us a hard focus because we only have those two characters. It's chiefly about two of them. There's no, I mean, Greg, the other guy. Well, I guess Ryan's kind of the other guy, or Seb. But Greg is in there for a scene, two. Ryan Gosling's sister is in there just to serve a purpose for one scene, and they're out. Greg, just to serve a purpose in one scene, then he's out. Seb's boss in the first restaurant, the piano restaurant with the Christmas music where he fails. just to serve that one scene, and then he's out. We don't have many recurring characters
There's no
outside
fluff
of
in this movie, really.
the main two. I like
And
that.
I like that, but also I felt like overall it felt really rushed.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I felt like we got big time jumps.
We have one time jump.
Well, they
kind of
do
go
cut it with like
seasonally.
fall,
Well, yeah,
summer,
like
and they kind
a
of
couple months at a time. It's like before they started dating, and then all of a sudden they're dating. All of a sudden,
Interesting.
Like-
I was watching it worried you guys would be
Well, they're
bored.
both
But what do
they're
you
both
want?
very passionate.
How do you fix that in your mind?
I
do
just
you
thought
want a
I
3
thought
hour
there
movie?
would be. I thought there would be more detail to them getting together. I think because it was just kind of like that.
I think that's the point. I
Yeah.
think it
I think
was
that's musicals, though.
Yes.
True.
It felt again.
It's more
stage-like.
mythological or whatever.
Because
mythological.
You get them. This movie is not. You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is
Right.
about the journey to the beginning of the relationship, effectively. If you want that, you watch rom-coms. This was about basically two people that have contrasting dreams that intersect for a time, and then in order for both of them to achieve their contrasting dreams, life leads them in opposite directions, and that's what the smile and the nod at the end of
Like
the movie
they
was.
still have love for each other, but they know that
She got exactly what she wanted.
They're-
She got her
yep.
family, she got her kid, she got her acting career. He got exactly what he wanted. He got to open Seb's, and he didn't name it something stupid like chicken on a stick.
I really wanted it to be chicken on a stick.
So it's a different journey. It's about quickly getting together and then growing apart.
and
Right.
like it's interesting. The first half of the movie is very musical. The musical numbers are very over the top. It's very happy. Where like the chemistry is just immediate and right off the bat. And then as soon as like they have their first kiss in the planetarium and you get that zoom in closing shot, once we reopen, it's like we're in
struggle
real
bus.
life.
Yeah.
You know, the fantasy is now over. It's like we're struggling to achieve our dreams. We're fighting. Like the musical numbers are no longer like fantastical. Everybody's aware that they're singing.
Which, to
And
be
it's very
fair,
grounded.
is kind of true to life. There's a honeymoon stage in every
It's true.
relationship, and
Yeah.
then the laundry has to get done.
We're still in our honeymoon phase, right, babe?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't mad about the lack of dried oregano in the house earlier tonight.
Parsley.
Parsley.
That's interesting you put it that way because I didn't see it.
I just don't think it's.
I didn't
that
see it that
movie.
way, but I did notice that the songs and the singing got a little more
It changes.
not sadder, just slower, and I don't know. Like the first song that they did where they were all on the bridge.
Oh, so
like that
good.
was classic musical.
So good.
Dudes flipping.
I was a little
like,
worried about the movie at that point because I didn't.
He
want
was
that's what I
not in
expected
for
from the
like.
rest.
Opening scene in
the
the
opening
traffic.
scene,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, get past this. I know it's good after this.
I don't
Like,
know.
I don't like
what,
that at all.
What is that?
Like,
What purpose did that scene serve?
I think it's just an
Let us know
homage
it's a
to.
musical,
Well,
I
I mean, it
guess. I don't
sets the
know.
stage for where our two characters are gonna have like their terrible meet cute. They're both stuck in
Yeah,
traffic.
that's true. But
And it's meant to be an homage to old musicals and everything.
All
It's
right, I buy
fun.
it.
It's fun.
Wow,
Everything's
they go
colorful.
They go from enemies to lovers, or no, enemies to friends to lovers to tragic lovers.
Yeah.
They kind of do a lot of pivots, more than any other,
Star-crossed
like, movie I've
lovers, if
seen.
you will.
it's very,
Yeah.
it's very story circle. I had the Harmon story circle up, and I have a point later in it where I'm like, this part is difficult. But I want to talk about Greg just for a second because I think his
back to Greg.
costuming really pissed me off. So
What?
he comes home. She's supposed to have the movie date with Seb. Oh, see you at 10 or whatever to watch this movie that they referenced in Who Cares?
Rebel Without a Cause.
Never seen it. You've never seen it. Maybe we should watch it.
We should watch that.
And instead, she's double booked. She's supposed to have a dinner with Greg's brother or
Yes.
sister, and it's a double date situation. She's there and she's bummed out because all she can think about is
She must be with Ryan. They're talking, droning on in boring
and
conversation.
it's very well written,
very
boring
vapid.
conversation because they said nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, writing that must have been interesting because you can't make it distractingly bad.
Yeah.
But it
I
has
think you have to
be
start
s-
backwards.
It has to be so monotonous that we are as bored as she is. And I think that's cool. But this guy's wearing He's got.
Oh yeah.
He's dressed like an Easter monster. He's wearing a pastel blue shirt, a pink tie, but his blue shirt's got a white collar. No, sir.
Oof.
No, sir.
Like a cliche finance bro.
It's like the
Yeah.
one guy in Office Space.
Oh, the meme guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Man.
terrible. We should
another
have
good
not
movie.
had different colored.
That is the
collars.
brother. That's not Greg.
Okay, that's
But
The
this
brother.
was-
Sorry.
But the brother is dressed
I
bad.
formally
The one that was speaking
apologize
like Mandarin or
to
something.
Greg. Yeah, the brother, whoever that is. Bad clothes. Boo.
I assume
Speaking
this
of
movie.
clothes and color. Oh, what were you gonna say, Nick?
I assume this movie takes place in present day.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I had the same
2016-ish.
question.
So that's still not excusable. Like in Office Space, that was early 2000s. That's
Yeah.
right. Don't
I don't
fact
know.
check
Or
me.
the
Yeah,
90s.
maybe.
I have never
Something.
seen
Office Space. I
It's
haven't
not
seen it.
2016. It's a little
That
more
I know for sure.
excusable there.
Can you answer me a question right off the top of your head? I couldn't remember what iPhone was that year. Is it the 7?
16? Oh God, I don't know.
When did the 10
You
come out?
know.
You
Don't
That's
be
know.
8 years ago.
Boy, you know.
I think it was maybe 7 or 8. It might have been 8. Single camera on the back.
That was the one where it got bigger for the first time.
They
Oh.
released the
And
Plus.
I thought, yeah, but I didn't get the plus
8
because like
Plus?
that's way too big.
I think it was.
I remember
think it might
going
have
to
been an
get
8.
my iPhone 8 and then going back to the office to work a really late shift with you.
Yeah.
And I had 2 phones.
Yep. I remember that too. I think it was the 8. Well,
And we went to Taco Bell at midnight. It was great.
Nice.
The observatory scene.
I
You got literal chills.
I got literal chills. I looked at Cameron.
She was like,
and I was like, Cameron,
"Look."
look at my chills.
Look.
And I
look
was
at my
like,
chills.
I mean,
Chills.
it's not that good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's
You're
not-
gonna say it's,
it's-
not.
I do like when they like take off and are like floating.
It's
That's what
so,
I'm talking
it's
about.
I
so
cannot-
magical.
I cannot get for the life of me get past what's really happening. What are they really doing when this like are they imagining this? Are they sitting there like
making love on the floor.
I think it's like, so I think the parallel to talk about Gene Kelly again is like, there was a couple moments like that scene where, oh, this is the Gene Kelly dance number that doesn't make sense and isn't in universe. Like we're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's almost dream sequences. And again, idyllic, relationshipy early. We're la la la. We fly off into space because we're so in love. That was
They're
kind
waltzing.
of what that was doing. Really cool scene.
Can I tell you a fun fact about that scene?
Yeah.
So you know how they land in those seats and then they have their first kiss and all of that.
Right.
So that was filmed in reverse. So they started in their seats and
Kissed
then,
and then got flung
lifted
up.
up. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's why
yeah.
it looks so seamless because like everything was all done in reverse.
So
I
I wonder-
started at the end of the kiss?
Yeah.
Awkward.
I wonder how many takes that took to not look backwards.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you did that
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing with your arm. You can't do that with your arm. Or like the clothing, how it moved. I wonder. I wonder.
I wanna
that
watch
was
it again,
Really
though.
difficult to pull off. I wrote down in that scene. I feel like I'm watching a theater production with limitless budget.
The
God, it really is. Yeah.
the dance in the stars is like almost 1-for-1 Beauty and the Beast is what I read.
Really? Like later on that happens?
No, like when they're
Oh, okay.
in the stars.
Oh, okay.
Okay, not at the end when they're doing the what could have been sequence. At the very end of the film,
Correct.
but during the initial observatory.
Yeah.
I really liked Ryan's reaction when the film like croaked.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the
Because he
laughter.
goes to kiss her or whatever, and then the film stops, and he's just like, on the thing.
Moment ruined. They have their moments ruined a few times
I've
before they
had,
can seal that deal.
I've been there. I like that. Oh, one of the things that I wrote down as a question, and I didn't look it up, and I'm too stupid, and I don't know, so write to us. Do they do the scenes first and then record the music for the songs?
Oh.
Or do they record the music first, play it as a track so they know how to mouth it right?
That's what I would imagine.
I think they had the music recorded first
That's
I don't know if
also
they
how
had the
I would
singing.
think they did it, but
because they did a lot of the singing on set.
and like how would-
really?
The musical,
Because that's what I meant was the singing, to be
Oh,
fair,
okay.
not the music.
like Emma Stone's, like the audition song was done there, and then when they do City of Stars together in their apartment, that was also done.
that was my favorite one.
there on
Okay.
set, just to get that like rawness and the emotion that you just don't get with like a studio quality. I don't know about the other ones. I'm sure the group sequences were recorded, but
Well, like how do you know what to rehearse with if it's not.
Yeah, they
done
definitely
before.
had the music at least before.
Yeah. Or maybe
I
someone
don't know
else
how that
singing.
works. On Glee, they did the recording before they filmed the episode.
That would be my guess, because how do you know what to like sync your mouth up to if
Right.
if the
True.
vocal
If you don't have it.
recordings are not
Yeah.
done in previously. Wow, that was the worst sentence.
Imagine trying to.
We'll be right back. No.
Imagine trying to sing, watching yourself mouth the song.
Oof. Yeah.
I don't know if
It'd be
if
impossible.
it's that far. It's just the audio. Like you've done it a million times, so I know. Oh, I inflected there, and
Yeah.
my mouth needs to stop right here, and blah blah blah. You probably listen to it in your car on the way to the studio or in your trailer while you're getting your 17 hours of makeup. Then we have really that idyllic scene, and then we do turn the corner quickly because he goes off on tour. We have that whole thing with John Legend, and then we
Which-
have the. She's trying to work on her one-woman show or whatever. She goes and sees him in concert, and she's bummed out because she's like,
Which is very
"This
big
not
sick.
You're letting go of your dream.
right."
This isn't
Big sick is
you.
a-
That is not my reaction.
What?
I saw him on the stage with John Lennon or John Legend. You did it to me. It's
That's
your fault.
my bad.
And I was like, this is so believable. He's really cool. Like he fits he fits that
Well, but-
keyboard
Yeah.
player in a band really well.
Well, but did you look at her face the whole time? Because
no,
you're
I
supposed
was
to-
staring at Ryan Gosling.
You're supposed to feel what she's
Can't
feeling in
blame
the
you.
audience of like, this isn't what he wants to be doing.
yeah.
Yeah, you hate this kind of music.
No, I get it. I just thought he looked super cool.
So
Right.
we have what the Harmon story circle is paying the price. Is this part? So we've met the goddess. We're on the road of trials. We're paying the price for what we wanted, which is their marital argument, non-marital, but
Couples
it's a
argument.
couple-y argument. And one of the most poignant moments in it was when she asked him, "Do you like the music you're playing?" Which is kind of starts the whole thing off.
Yeah.
Which feel that too. But that was a really that is the part of the movie where I looked up the plot
I was wondering when it would happen.
because I hate that stuff. That kind
That's
of
the most grounded scene in the whole movie, though. I think like it's just people talking.
We switched
like,
to
there's really
watching Marriage
flourish.
Story. And it
Dude.
just I didn't like it because it just made me uncomfortable, so I looked it up.
That line that he gave her when she was like, "Since when do you care about what people think your music?" And he was like, "Well, you're an actor. Who are you to say that?" Or something along those lines. Yeah, that killed me.
The part for me was I don't remember what he says to her, but she goes, "Are you joking?" And he goes, "No."
I think
says-
you liked me because I was
Yeah.
when I'm kicked on my ass or something, and she's like, "Are you
Yeah.
kidding?" And I was like, "Oh, that's the most heartbreaking. Are you kidding in Hollywood history?" That
Are you
was-
kidding?
Yeah.
And he goes,
Gut-wrenching.
"No."
You only liked me because when I was down, because it made you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
Knife.
that's the thing where it's
screw
like
you, dude.
go to counseling. Like you guys need an independent adjudicator.
Yeah.
It's a good segue to our sponsor, BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Oh God. If I hear one more BetterHelp ad,
BetterHelp,
So
where
many
they
BetterHelp
manipulate you to get on
Ooh.
drugs and they don't actually solve your
Sounds fun.
Hey, if you've been prescribed an antidepressant, take that shit.
Something.
But maybe go to a real therapist.
Maybe go to a real therapist.
Not BetterHelp.
Something they do in that scene though is the music cuts out, and then they're really
Oh.
purposeful about leaving silence in for like the rest of the movie.
I have talked about that. I love the use of silence
Yeah.
in music.
good.
It's silence is a huge tool that not enough musicians and bands utilize. And I talk about it in things like Clarkson's Farm, which we've been watching. The very deliberate cutoffs, often for humor's sake or to let you feel sad. And then they bring the music back as a transition to the next scene. I love that kind of stuff. I nerd out over music cuts. And
you need
for-
to watch No Country for Old Men.
I do need to watch that. I just saw a
Yeah.
clip about it today. I need to watch that movie. Now, what I liked about the music cut in that argument scene is that it had a visual component because the music stopped and then we did a cut while they were arguing to the vinyl record spinning with the needle off the track. And I went, oh, that's great. Because
close.
they hit you over the head with the fact that the music stopped there. Because for people like Nick and Carl sometimes who don't pay attention to soundtracks.
Nope.
And they just went, hey, the music stopped dummy, so that you noticed with that
I
visual.
see it now.
And it
Like,
really,
did stuff.
really drove it home, and I really appreciated that part. And then couldn't wait for the scene to end. And then the smoke detector goes off,
Oh my god!
and she bones out. Yeah.
For whatever reason, my TV can play the shrill, high-pitched sounds louder than anything else, to the point where I was like, I'm gonna get knocks on my door.
It goes on.
So-
An actual
It goes
fire
on for a
alarm.
while.
They
A
let you
long
sit with it
time.
for sure.
Very uncomfortable. Yeah.
So the alarm goes off because he's burning something in the oven.
Yeah.
What he pulls out is a 25-pound apple pie,
What?
which
I noticed
was
how large it
which
was.
was a like gag gift that he brought to like a writing session, and they're like, we have to get that in the movie somehow.
Okay.
I
It was
didn't
just
know
a
that.
25-pound apple pie.
'Cause
I
it
love that.
It's like the size of a milk crate. It's enormous.
I've always wondered what it is.
I'm like, what the hell was that?
Oh my
and that's
gosh.
hilarious that he I can see his face rocking up with that thing on set. God, that's fantastic.
so fun.
That's hysterical.
I have a hard time with some like so this storyline I've seen several times recently where the guy wants the girl to come with him and like
On the tour.
on the tour.
Yeah.
Or like I'm watching a show right now and he gets a job in Washington and he wants her to like come with him for a couple months. And on one
Parks and
hand,
Rec?
I get Parks and Rec does it too, actually. They don't have a fight about it though, which I appreciate about Parks and Rec.
Well, they're married though, which does change things.
but like on one
Well, not at
hand
that
I
point,
get
I don't
it
think.
Yeah, whatever.
because
In Parks and Rec, they are, aren't they?
Not yet.
Not at that point, but sorry, Daniel.
I'm thinking of when Traeger and Anne leave town. My bad.
But no, that's true. Ben and Leslie aren't married at that point because he comes back and proposes. It
In
always
one of the
makes
greatest
me
scenes of the movie.
cry.
That's good.
Anyways, what I was saying was, on one hand, I get reacting like I don't want to lay down my whole life and just like follow you, but like also adventure. If I can just go off somewhere and not work,
Wasn't it like
why would like
That's true.
you know? Yeah, like on one hand,
He's
like
making
that
all the
could
money.
be great. He's making the money.
You could just tour around the world.
Catch
I'm
up
on
with
the
him
opposite
after
side,
the
too.
next
Like,
couple weeks.
why didn't he go to Paris with her?
Right.
A big jazz scene. He could have
Come
opened a
on.
club there
It's
for a
Paris.
little bit.
Well, so at
Like-
that point though, the relationship was over.
Yeah.
He went to whatever city, I don't remember, and laid on the horn and how did you find me? Right across from the library or whatever, and which was a cool moment. To get like, hey, I got the call for your dream job, and even though this is over, I'm going to make you do your dream.
He helps her.
Which is cool. And then she nails the audition, which that was the one scene where as soon as it ended, I went, that was one take, wasn't it? There were no cuts in that. And absolutely. And then again, you wonder, were they there from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. trying
Doing
to get
that
that right?
1,000 times.
They did 9 takes.
Oh,
They
Wow.
used the second take in the movie.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
That's great.
They only could do 9 because like her voice eventually was gonna go. So
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like, we only have a limited amount of takes here. But doing that 9 times is
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay.
It's a very vulnerable thing she's doing too.
Yeah.
Just that looking. Oh God, I can't even imagine. Like,
I love
crazy.
the whole reveal too. Not to push past the end, but we're kind of heading there anyway. Of the so post time jump, and she's with.
We don't even know his name.
We don't even know his name because he's just like many of the side characters in this movie.
Pointless.
He serves a purpose. He's a one trick. There's a lot of just one trick ponies. You're
Yeah.
here to. It's like people as MacGuffins. You just move the plot forward. You just move the plot forward. You just move the plot forward.
Yeah.
We care about 2 people, which I think is
You're right.
is really cool. Because this movie reminds me a lot of Singing in the Rain and Inside Llewyn Davis and The Big Sick. It's very much
Ooh.
Big Sick-ish, but the end is
It's a one-man
different.
show. Yeah.
They get together at the end. Like The Big Sick is more in that rom-com style of
Yeah.
we're working to get to the end point, whereas this is more like Inside Llewyn Davis, where we're just following a journey. And they both end bummed out, which I think is kind of cool. But you know, the whole I
Melancholy,
I
yeah.
loved the Seb's reveal. Like, there's a couple moments that she has in that collection of scenes where she's just like stops and stares for a bit, and I'm like, yeah, because you're feeling it, and that makes us feel it, and it's just brilliant storytelling. But the reveal of the Seb sign, and then
Oh.
her husband, as the like snap you back into it, as this
Mm-hmm.
place is really cool, and then
Yeah.
she's like, oh, like you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just great. And then he's up there grooving with his band and doing his thing, and then he sees her, and it goes silent again.
Yeah.
And they play that uppish motif
Ugh,
of their song,
theme.
and it's the slowest, most
it's so good.
minor key. I know it's whatever, but it's so poignant and just brilliant. And then you have one of my favorite parts of the movie is the what could have been scene,
Yeah.
where it's the, what if we time traveled and you moved that chair kind of take on, there were certain things were different. There wasn't the Seb sign in the club. And
if he'd said no to John Lennon,
he
whatever,
did
whatever his
John
name
Legend.
is. John Legend.
If he said no to John Legend, and if
We're all
he
ruined now.
kissed her as soon as they met instead of bumping her out of the way, and
Yeah.
all
If
these
he went to
things,
if her show was a success.
right, and it's a super cool way of
But it kind of was a success, though. But,
I mean, yeah, it was really.
it got her the call.
yeah.
But
It was a stepping stone.
it was a super cool way of like
Emma Stone.
Ah,
There's something there.
What-
We'll
what's,
workshop it.
what's important to look at though in that what if portion of the film is that neither of them do the thing that they wanted to do. She's not the huge actress, and he doesn't
Yeah.
accept.
They just kind of become each other's dream.
which is kind of what
Ooh.
that's what I meant by what I opened the show with, a movie about accidentally chasing your dreams wrong, because you kind of have to choose. It's the what if that we all have. Like, do you settle down or do you go be insane?
Yeah.
I always wanted to settle down because I'm not a risk taker. But I wanted to ask you a
You as in
question
me?
about
okay.
I wrote down, I would love to know if Danielle thinks his decision to play in the band with the music he hates was reasonable or ridiculous. Should he have done that? What do you think as a female about that decision? He sacrifices his dream, really, for the stable option to try to get the girl.
To try and get the girl.
But that ends up, he projects resentment onto her because he doesn't get to do what he's basically like, it's your fault that I'm doing this, so why are you mad that I'm doing it? And she's like, I didn't ask you to do that. So I'm wondering your take on that as the woman.
See, what he should have done, in my opinion, I'm not a therapist,
Is communicate.
Communicate before he signed the contract. Yeah. Hey, are you disappointed in me? Like, do you wish I had a job? Like, how are you feeling? He should have had a conversation with her first and been open to see like where they were at.
It's very unmannish, though. We like to
I know.
just solve
So much
things.
happens off screen too. Like we
Yeah.
don't really get to see any of that conversation of him actually
That's
joining
true.
the
Like, because
band.
maybe it happened, but I don't think it's unreasonable. Like, I mean, it was a good paying job. Like, he got to play.
$1,000
He
a
was
week or so?
getting to play music. Like, so no, I don't think
And
it's
that's what he was
ridiculous.
kind of like as during the argument they have. He's like, this is every musician's dream to be in a band and have a record or whatever. And she's like, yeah, but it isn't what you wanted.
Yeah.
And
At
he's
the-
like, well, it's what you wanted for
He'd
me.
done that
and
for a
then,
bit, got notoriety, and started his own thing eventually.
that's
right,
what I feel like
but-
they just needed
Yeah.
more time.
I
Like,
think the-
But still wasn't his dream.
I think
though.
the point he was trying to make is that it's hard when you are in it to jump off of it because you tour to promote the album that you then recorded so that you could tour it. It's cyclical. You never ever stop. It's why so many artists kill themselves.
But, like, that's-
and get burned out and quit and
yeah.
stuff.
Like, that was the end of their relationship. Like, I couldn't be in a relationship with somebody who was touring like that. You'd never see them. So, I mean,
And that was what my pipe dream as a teenager was. Oh, I want to be in a touring metal band. I would blow my brains out.
you couldn't do it.
I
You'd
hate
be so tired.
traveling. You know what else I hate? Other people's music opinions, and I have to be.
You'd have to hear
fan
so many of them.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Not that I'm living the dream by writing ads on the internet all day, but at least I get to slam the laptop shut at 4:58 and go ugh.
At least you got the girl, right?
That's true.
Hey.
And I get to have beers in my shower every night, which is sick. So
that is pretty good.
now that's really the end of my notes.
I have a few other notes.
My last note was really quick to just be a meme is I need and require a Gosling and Reynolds movie. I need that. I think it would probably be maybe even best case a 6 out of 10 movie because they're both kind of the same. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of variety. But I need that. I need that to
Buddy
be
cop movie?
something.
That's what
I was about
something.
to say, I think it'd
Yeah.
be buddy cop.
I need that to be. But however, in buddy cops though, you have. I guess you could have good cop, bad cop, but they both have similar humors ish. I know Reynolds is a little more sarcastic and biting.
Like
Whereas
Gosling's more dry.
Gosling's more dry and witty.
Kinda witty.
And
Well, they're both kinda
charming.
witty.
They are both. It's hard to explain the difference between them, but you know what I'm
But you
saying.
know. You know
Yeah.
the difference.
And for that
It's
reason,
like lime and lemon. They're very close but distinct.
exactly. But
Yeah.
and you don't put both juices in a thing and drink it. You need something else. So I don't think a buddy cop would necessarily work because they're so samey.
What if they're absolute enemies?
something?
But it's a comedy.
like a face-off kind of deal.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. But
Brothers
comedy-
separated at birth, become enemies, and they realize they're brothers halfway through the movie or something.
I just think it would be. I think the back and forth would
Write
be
it.
gold.
Yeah.
But we'll never get it.
Oh, yeah.
But I want it. But
Yeah.
you have
That would
to
be
I
good.
get something.
You looked up a lot of facts. You have to have more things to say about this as the La La Land expert of the show.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a La La Land
I
expert.
mean, you've seen it more than any of the rest of us.
That's true.
My hat itches.
I can hit
my
you with
forehead.
some
If you're
fun
watching and I
facts.
keep touching my, this thing is made of felt and my forehead's on fire.
I'm sorry.
I haven't worn this one as much, and you got to get the sweat in the band to make them comfy, and I'm not there yet.
Gross. But real.
You got to break it in.
I gotta break it in. I'm itching right now. My hair is tired. I didn't shower this morning.
Oh,
My hair
so
is
sorry.
tired.
Well, it gets greasy because I've got my hair's half life is 12 hours, and if you go over that,
Life.
Same.
Same. Are you ready for some facts?
Yeah.
We're not going in
Yes.
order here. So I wrote down another Cameron moment. He goes, "That yellow dress isn't in your color season, sweetie." When Emma's wearing her famous yellow dress that she wears on the poster.
was I wrong?
He's not wrong. It is not in her color season. But she specifically wanted to wear that dress. That dress was a rehearsal dress. She was supposed to be in white. But she asked to wear the yellow dress because she liked it so
What
much.
scene was this in? Is this the
Is she in
Christmas
Autumn? What is
bar
she?
Scene?
I don't know what she is off the top of my head. I don't know.
We were also trying to figure out if she's a natural redhead because her eyebrows
She's a
are
natural
brown.
blonde. I looked it up.
What's
Whoa.
with the eyebrows?
I don't know. Maybe you just gotta darken them so it's not washed out on camera.
Or
You
maybe
know?
they're that dark. I mean, I had dark eyebrows when my hair
Old
was blonde.
Hollywood.
Yeah. But no, that's in the dance scene with the hand.
My hair used to be
You know?
blonde. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
was,
yellow dress.
Sorry, Emma Stone.
He was being a hater.
I just didn't. You're so pale.
I mean, a lot of my
I don't wear
facts
yellow either.
So,
have already been sprinkled in. Does Nick have some?
well, I just read that they did some intentional things with the colors where
Okay.
he wore a lot of red. She was wearing a lot of blue. And together that made purple. And then
There's a lot
they
of
started
purple.
wearing purple. And yeah, just kind of symbolic of their
I
relationship
started
coming
picking
together.
up on that a little bit, yeah. Because like in the very beginning, she's wearing the blue dress, and then when they're at the observatory, she's wearing green, which I was like, okay, that's the beginning of a new relationship. It's green, and eventually it kind of turns red, which is like passion, and it kind of turns blue again, which is like it's kind of cooling off. But so I didn't know if that like carried consistently through. There was just so many outfit changes and color changes that I didn't quite know if it was like perfectly lined up. But it did seem like there was definitely a lot of intentionality behind like what she was wearing and like the current state of their relationship. So I don't know.
And a lot
Everything
of it
in
was
this movie
vintage.
was so well done.
A lot of it was vintage pieces that she was wearing.
Him too. The watch. His watch is
Yeah.
from the '60s. He had a 3-piece suit at one point with a vest, and I was like, yes,
It was all of his outfits were custom
yes. Oh,
for
of
him
course.
because they. I mean, they fit perfectly.
hey, everyone's
Think
suits.
you got to keep them?
Everyone's
I don't
suit
know.
should be custom.
Probably.
Go to a tailor. They're not expensive. Stop wearing baggy suits. I'm
No.
thinking of someone in particular, and I can't say who, but wow.
No, you can't say who. No, I don't. I love the color. I love the use of color in this movie and the skyline and the outfits. Like I love the costuming in this movie. It's so good. It always makes me want to go
I
shopping.
think I think too. It's the movies. It's to the movie's credit that both Nick and I, separate of each other, asked if it was supposed to be set in modern day, because it doesn't matter. It's everything they do is timeless. The only thing that dates this movie is the
Cell
Prius
phones.
she's driving and the cell phones
Yeah.
and some of the keyboards.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about the car.
But some of the keyboards date the movie a little bit, but it's timeless. You can watch this movie just like we watch Singing in the Rain now. You could watch this movie in 50 years, and I think it would scan.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it would scan, and I think that is it's hugely to its credit.
I don't know. This is a movie that feels like art to me. Everything is done
Oh,
with such purpose and
the topography.
intentionality.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Very Art Deco.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good. Everything
shot on
invokes
film,
an emotion.
Was it shot on film?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
it was.
Because like this movie, as colorful as it is, didn't seem as like fake colorful as
Poppy like Marvel movies.
Yeah, like what was the other the movie Burt Kreischer did? I forgot the machine. Like it
Machine.
just seemed so saturated. It didn't seem normal. Like something felt weird about it. Like I just remember the colors in that being like fake looking, but this is very colorful and
Too
vibrant, but it
vibrant.
feels
Some
grounded.
of that
or
for
something.
us is when we were growing up in the early 2000s. A lot of the color tones were like more sepia. Like we had a lot of browns and yellows, and you know, Sirius was that. And now even in our superhero films, like if you look at Spider-Man 2, it's so much more. I feel like colored to be grounded, and then you look modern, and everything's very cool toned and very.
Unless you go to Mexico and then everything's yellow.
Yeah, and then you piss on the lens, and wow. Or the Middle
Wow.
East. So
Yeah. Or Mad Max.
yeah,
It's
no,
all
and
yellow.
I don't know if it's just film. I think a lot of it's in the color grading, and the color grading had to have been made to, like many things in the movie, harken back to old Hollywood, which is part of what makes it so timeless, and part of what makes it so visually interesting.
Yep.
Was it Technicolor that they came out with back then?
Technicolor
so big?
was the first, color.
Okay, because it definitely felt like that.
I do have some tragic news.
Oh, no.
No.
I forgot to do hot points.
Oh no!
I was so excited. I was so excited to watch
I
this
got a
movie.
hot point for you.
Could you
That-
do it? Could you do it
I think I could still do it.
like a live hot point?
Yeah. I want to know what Carl's hot point is though first.
When he honks and picks her up,
Yes.
and then he just kisses her and drives off without looking, I was like, that's a hot
yes,
point.
that would absolutely
Yeah.
be a hot point.
Where was that
Got
at? What part of the movie?
When they first started going together and he picks her up in the car and then she's like, that's a one way. And they like,
Okay,
then he
yes,
backs
yes,
up and the other
yes,
car's
yes.
coming. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, that's a hot point.
I thought
That's
you
a
were
hot
talking when he's outside of her door. I'll be at your house at whatever in the morning, and she's half a second late because she has coffee, and he's like, "Great," and then they drive on.
He waits like 4 seconds. It's like,
Yeah, give her
dude,
some time.
she has to see
Yeah.
that you're there.
It's a window
Come
of
out.
time.
Yeah.
He's irritated with her refusal of the call, though.
Well, he needs to be patient.
No, that scene that Carl's talking about, though, when that scene was happening, I said, I think, damn it, I need a convertible. Like, I want
You did
a
say that.
convertible. I want
You did say
one.
that.
Need a more impressive horn.
All right, let's try our first ever live hot points. Go.
Man. Well, I did make a few notes. So, I mean, he's got the jazz piano skills. He's a musician.
I
Musician.
mean, he's a musician.
Words are hard.
Passionate.
He's so passionate.
She's so drunk.
I'm
He's
so
a good
drunk.
dresser.
You know me. I'm always at the sauce.
At the sauce. That's the phrase. He's at the
also-
sauce.
Isn't that a thing?
Hitting the sauce.
In the sauce.
In
Close
the
enough.
sauce.
I was close.
Wrong
you know,
preposition.
you know what I meant. Anyways,
He's
the
around the
piano,
sauce.
It's around the sauce. The music skills. I can't say musician. I'm gonna stop trying. But anyways, the dancing. He's got the dance moves, the fashion. Like Carl said, the kiss while they're driving.
The wit.
The wit. Like, I don't want to say 10 because I feel like I don't want to be too, like, I don't want to give out too many, but like, he's got to be a 9 or a 10, right? I almost want to give him a 9 because
This is your call.
he does do some like dick moves.
Yeah, but so does everyone.
He's not a good
You're right.
communicator.
So does everyone.
He's
Is it-
not a good communicator.
Is it a plus or a minus hot point that he takes the job playing the music he doesn't like just so he can try to save the girl?
I don't know if that's
I
a
think
hot.
That's a neutral,
Yeah, I don't know if
Neutral?
that's a
Alright.
hot quality.
but it's not gross.
It's not gross, no.
It's a bit, a little too much bravado. But you know, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna.
We're writing a movie here.
Yeah, I'm
We're
gonna
trying to
go.
make it real.
I'm gonna go 9.
Nine's a great one. That's
Yeah,
That's very respectable.
yeah.
that's air horn territory. That's a good score. Good job, Ryan Gosling.
Good job, Ryan. We're
I think there's
climbing.
1 point for Crazy Stupid Love
Yeah,
to
right.
get a 10.
We'll see.
Oh,
we'll see
yeah.
if he does it.
We don't
What
wanna
did you
max
give
out,
him
yeah.
in Nice Guys? I don't remember.
I might have been an 8. I
8?
think we're climbing. I
Ooh,
think
we're
we've had a
climbing.
7, 8, 9.
8,
Nice.
9.
We'll see what
We're
happens
getting there.
next week.
See if his
We'll get him
Tune
on the
in.
wall.
Can his
Yeah.
sass get him to a 10?
Oh,
And-
the sass is so good.
Well, let's do hit,
He's
hit or
super
miss.
strong in the next movie too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Carl
No, I haven't
knows.
seen it.
That's all you. That's all
I'm
you
gonna
get.
dust my computer. Look at that thing. That's disgusting.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan.
Let's do hit or miss, which is going to be maybe interesting. We'll see.
I'm
I'll start with
curious.
me. Hit for me. I
Nice.
thought it was great. I was talking with Forrest in David's Discord about it a little bit, and he said that it was the movie that got him into musicals. He loves it, but he's also big into jazz. I'm medium into jazz. I dabble. I don't know the first damn thing about it. I think bebop's cool, and I just like jazz. I don't like freeform as much because it makes my brain hurt. When my brain hurts, I want it to hurt to prog, not to freeform jazz. So, but no, I'd be interested to hear Forrest's thoughts on the film more. But no, I loved it a lot. I thought it was cool. I think that on a level, I would have appreciated it more if it was happily ever after.
Really?
But I think that would make it a worse movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Would've been more
change-
cliche.
Yeah, and just not as artsy, fartsy.
Which is
and-
what I expected.
I think I expected that too. Which is why I think we originally pitched this movie for rom-com month, and
It's-
you
Ooh.
bounced it.
It's not a
because you're like, first of all, it's not a comedy, and second of all, it's not like that. And
not
that
like
was
that.
in the back of my head the whole time. So I'm going, this can't be. And then when I had to look it up at the Road of Trials part of the movie, I was like, yeah, all right. I'm kind of glad I did because I knew, I kind of like knowing what was going to happen so that I could,
You can enjoy, not stress out.
well, I can appreciate the journey for what it is with knowing where we're going to end up. I know that's the wrong way to watch movies, but it is often how I do it. So no, all that to say, Hit for me is a good movie. One of my favorites of the year so far.
Really? That makes me so happy.
And we're halfway through. Now, would I watch it tomorrow? No.
I would.
Do I ever need to watch it again? Maybe not necessarily, but I'll look back on it and go, it was a good movie.
If I had it on, you wouldn't be mad.
No, I wouldn't put my headphones in if you.
Oh,
had it
okay.
on.
All
Let's
right.
do you next,
Me next.
and we'll end with Carl.
Okay. Well, it's an obvious hit for me. I mean, I kind of already said my closing statements. Just I love the artistic direction. I love the costuming. I love the soundtrack and the music. I love how everything is meant to evoke an emotion. You know, I love the chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone is just mwah, chef's kiss. It's so good. This movie makes me want to dance and just swish. And I do find myself just being more swishy afterwards. I just
Gotta be swishy.
you gotta be swishy. So I love it. I don't know. It's a hit.
Nick, yeah.
For me, I was on the line of hit or mid
Man.
until the ending. And I really liked the ending. I liked that it wasn't super cliche and was kind of real life.
What about the ending specifically? Like you like
They didn't end up together, and they both in a way had to settle but also achieve their dreams.
So was it the look and smile at the end that drove it home
So-
for you? Was it the what could have been scene that put everything in perspective?
It was the what could have been scene.
Okay.
And there's a specific comment on YouTube because I was doing research after that really put me over to hit. Was because he starts playing the piano in the club, and then you get the flashback scene. And the comment, this person just says, "Jazz is storytelling, and he plays to her the life that they could have had." And I
Aw.
went, I like that.
Aw.
It's a hit.
Yeah. All right, Carl. I'm
All right.
kind of pretty interested in yours because you are a musical detractor.
I was gonna say, yeah. If
You
there's
hated
something
singing
that
in
anybody
the
knows
rain.
about me, is that I usually don't love musicals. But I think it's the genre of jazz that this movie isn't as sing-songy. It's just more music.
It's not show.
Like, there's not
tunes.
that much. It's not ridiculous. Yeah, the music seems kind of settled in the scenes, and maybe it's because they're doing so much to elevate the scenes and make them seem artistic that it works more for me. I think it's a hit. I enjoy it. I think the story's kind of simple, but that kind of gives it the ability to kind of flourish with the visuals. It's like
And the actors, the performances get
yeah.
a chance.
Oh
to-
yeah, and like yeah, they're like just the range that both of them have is just bananas. But it's almost like if Wes Anderson and OK Go made a movie like for 2 hours.
I don't know what that means.
The treadmill guys.
Hopefully somebody out there knows.
The treadmill
just like-
guys.
You can say
They
that
just, like,
all
it's-
you want.
It's like their production with like kind of Wes Anderson stylization of like kind of crafting a scene, but it's like both of those things kind of come together and make this like spectacle of a movie. So I think it's a hit. Yeah.
All right, well, 4 hits. 2 more on the fence and 2 very firmly in the hitland.
Very
so,
firm.
No, it's a good movie. I think the music, to your point, being jazz is another thing worth mentioning that makes the movie timeless, because jazz is just... I mean, if you're going to do an homage to old Hollywood, you kind of have to pick show tunes,
Yeah.
big band, or jazz.
Some of the producers he tried to go to wanted to turn Sebastian into a rock star,
Gross.
and he wouldn't. Damien Chazelle wouldn't do it, so
Good
he was
for
like,
him.
"I'm gonna wait till I find someone who will fund it the way that I want it."
I think that he actually was shopping this movie before he did Whiplash. And the studios, because Whiplash is a short film first. If you don't want to commit to the whole
Right.
movie, there's a short film that you can just watch on YouTube. It's about 18 minutes long. It has a different lead actor, but J.K. Simmons is still in it.
Oh,
And it has some of the, like, I think it's a scene directly lifted from what ended up being the full film. But obviously Whiplash was released as a short film first, and then studios were all over it. So he made that while he was shopping La La Land to get the right. But, I mean, you have to do this movie the way it was done. If you turn Ryan Gosling into dollar store Axl Rose, it's a terrible movie.
just trash.
Rock and rollers
He doesn't
don't
have a rock
the
star look
charm
really. Yeah.
that
No.
jazz has. Jazz is like the professors of music. You know what I mean? Like it's great.
It's so much more romantic.
It is. I mean, we go to
Versus
jazz
rock,
stuff.
Why do you say romantic like it's a dirty word?
So yeah, great movie. Next week we're gonna watch, what is it?
Crazy Stupid Love.
Not Drive, because
We decided not to.
whatever.
Me and Carl are in charge, and we picked this one.
Well, Drive I mentioned before. I keep conflating it with Baby Driver, a movie I have zero desire to watch. So, yeah, I don't know. Crazy Stupid Love. I don't
Iva's
know what to
worth a watch
expect.
for
I
sure.
have seen one of the Crazy Stupid Love scenes on TikTok all the time,
I'm sad.
so I'm spoiled for a plot point.
I'm excited for
Dang.
Nick to learn about this.
I'm actually-
plot
I
point.
know nothing
I'm
about
excited.
this movie.
I'm spoiled for in this one scene. I'm spoiled for up to like 5 plot points. Like a lot happens.
You don't
in that
have
scene,
them quite.
but I don't have
They're not.
them quite
They're not.
right.
They're not quite right. So it'll still be some. Although I'm sure you'll read the plot. You know, 30
It
minutes
doesn't
into the
matter
movie
anyways.
anyway.
We'll see. So it's good that I thought that scene was at the end of the movie, and it isn't.
It is not.
So that's cool.
I don't know what scene you're talking about.
I'm not going to mention it because Nick hasn't seen it. But Carl, it's the scene where just a million people show up and there's a little bit of a
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I've seen on TikTok.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't have context, but I do know that there's some intertwining.
funny movie.
There's an intertwining between a couple relationships, and apparently that's a little bit spoilery. So sad. Thanks, TikTok. But hey, we're gonna watch Crazy Stupid Love and close out Ryan Gosling month, and then I think in July we're doing kind of summer
Summertime.
flicks.
Some creature features.
So maybe some
Creature
creature
features.
movies. So
Write that down.
maybe some classics. We'll see. So hey, watch Crazy Stupid Love. Go to bed tonight dreaming about smooching Ryan Gosling. I'll be dreaming about that. So
Oh.
we'll catch you in the next one.